Hi, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to our People Matters virtual learning series. This is Esther Martinez from People Matters, and we're back with more and more information and learning for all of you. As you know, the People Matters virtual masterclass series started, I think, just 3, 4 weeks ago. To really, as a response to all of us, as most of you are working from home, and most of you don't have an opportunity to access a lot of the work that we used to do face to face. So we have created this virtual community to make sure that the learning doesn't stop. This is our third masterclass. Today's topic is going to be on recruitment technology roadmap, how to buy, how to invest, and how to measure ROI of that investment. And it's a very, very relevant topic because not only I think some of you are still really looking for key roles that you're hiring, but it's also a time where you take a step back to set up new processes, to strengthen the process of your recruitment. So when the better times come and you go back to recruitment, then you have actually improved that foundation. So we have today our expert a facilitator who's going to be William Tincup. He's the president, Recruitment Daily. He's a writer, speaker, advisor, consultant, investor, a storyteller, and teacher. So hello, William, and a very warm welcome. And thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Esther. And I hope everyone is safe during these times. I again, it's one of those things. We're going to make it through this. We're going to make it through it as a community. And I love the work that People Matters is doing for a community around the world, or HR and recruiting community around the world. So happy to be here. Hope everyone is well, and also very excited to share what I know about this topic. And I know we're going to have a lot of questions. So there we go.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks, William, and thanks so much for your warm wishes to all of us who are in this call. Thank you so much. So, as William said, we are going to spend time as well with questions. Well, William has prepared a presentation. This presentation, as a disclaimer, is a presentation for a much longer time. So, we're going to try to do our best in the next 30 to 40 minutes that we have together. So, if you see in your right side of your screen, you'll be able to post questions. So keep sharing those as we go along the presentation. So we will be able to take them either throughout the presentation or at the end as well. So let's start with a quick poll question, William, before I give it over to you. If we could share the poll
Absolutely.
question screen, team, if we can get the poll question. So then we get started with some little bit of a thought, process, and reflection. I think, William, is it that you're sharing screen right now? Are you in share
Oh,
screen?
no,
Okay,
I
no problem. I
am.
think they
And
just
there's,
oh, that's the first question. So the way you need to go, you have to go to www.menti.com. If you open that in a new window, it will prompt you to use a code. The code for this particular masterclass is 825226. So I just
that's a
wait
great
for
question too.
we will wait for a second before all of you log in. And what you can see in this question is to help you start reflecting about what are the biggest challenges that you're facing when selecting recruitment technology. And we've given you some options so that we get a sense of the audience. The first is too many choices, too many options in the market. The second is having access to budget, really securing that investment is a challenge. The third is too many people in the process, whether it's the HR or the tech team or the business team, too many people involved, and that becomes a challenge. Fourth is the ability to identify what's really going to be the ROI. So we'll give you just another minute or so we get a chance to understand
Esther,
the
I'm going to
audience.
pick
And I
all
think
four of them.
no, you have to
I'm
choose
going to pick
one
all
only.
four.
No, only one, only one. This will help you, William, as we go through your masterclass as well, to focus on where the audience is really having more challenges.
Absolutely.
So,
100%. 100%.
all right. So just again,
And
invite you to go to
such a great
menti.com.
question. And it'll come up throughout the entire time we're talking. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Esther.
No problem. No problem. Great. So, team, can we start seeing the responses? I think they're just gonna come now. If we're facing some challenges, please let me know. Yes. Okay. If that's not coming right now, then maybe we will move forward and come back whenever they're ready.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Should we do that? Okay. Let's
Can
do
you see
that
my
then.
screen? Yeah.
I can see your screen right now. So we'll go back to this question. I think we can see the responses now. I'm so sorry, team.
Oh,
All right. So
cool.
it looks like there's a tie between the first one is of course identify the ROI, which I'm so glad because this is really what we're going to be doing. One of the big questions we're going to be answering today. Too many options in the market is also something, William, you're going to cover today, and access to budgets in a way is also connected with the last. I'm glad to see that the decision making being multifold is not a big challenge for the group. So that's also great
That's
to
great.
see. Any
Yeah,
comments, William? Is
no, I think
this something that you
that's
will?
about what I expected. That's about what I expected, and I'm glad that the green is not as big, because that shows me progress in recruiting and HR and their ability to kind of control their own destiny. So I like that a lot. But the rest of them, I expect them to grow as we go through the presentation. They're, yes, all four of them were important. As you gave them really tough choices, which is good. But
I
that's
know, I
a great
know,
poll.
I
Exactly
know,
what I
I
expected.
know. We'll just wait for another couple of minutes because you see the numbers are actually shifting as more and more of you are now seeing the results and saying, no, I disagree. Let me also, come in and participate. But the pink one continues to be the number one. Our ability to articulate and identify. So it's identifying and then, of course, articulating the ROI seems to be the winner. All right. So my recommendation, team, will be let's just get started with the presentation. So maybe we can stop the questions at the moment and then give it over to you, William, for the masterclass. Over to you.
Okay. All right. And can you see my screen now? Or do I need to reshare?
You will have to share the screen. Yeah, that's right.
Yep, there we go. So you can see
Yes,
the
we can see.
master slide?
Yep. Yes.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
good. Well, let's
Thank
get
you.
right into it. So a couple things, y'all, as we go through this, ask questions. As Esther said, it's very important.
I think we're facing a little bit of difficulties, William, to hear you. There's a little bit of a difficulty to hear you, William. Yeah, so apologies. I think there must be some internet connection challenge on William's side. So we just wait for him to join back. We had a couple of more poll questions, so we could go and do those. Team, should we go for the second question? We had prepared a couple of more questions. We can actually go back to Menti. Again, I'd love to see the first question if any data has changed. And then we can see the second and third question as well while we get William back. Okay, let's have a look on. All right, so this hasn't changed much. That's great. So should we go to the next question and let us reflect? I think what's really about trying to understand what technologies are you using today, both for social hiring and also for recruitment tech? So let's do these couple of questions together just to get a sense from the audience. Can we go back to the second question? If I can get the People Matters team to support. All right, thank you. All right, so the second question we have prepared for you is, which are the recruitment software tools that you're using, the top recruitment tools for the next year? So if you could just spend a minute to share the name of the tool. I think we're going to get a cloud word from this. Hi, William. Welcome back. We just took a minute to go to one more question from the poll.
Even if it's categories too, Esther, that would be great too, like recruitment, marketing, technology, etc.
Yeah.
If you don't know, put a category of software, that would be great as well.
Okay. So I'm not going to look at the answers right now. Please feel free to keep answering, and we are going to go back to William's presentation, and we will see the answers a bit later.
Sure.
Over to you again.
So
William.
as it's pull versus future, absolutely. So it's current state versus future state. That's the first thing you have to have. What do we need? What's working? What's not working? And so this current versus future state, I want you to model that over your thinking where we are now and where. So pro tip, what is your vision for you have to have an idea of where you want to go before you start the process of looking at technologies, buying technologies, etc. In fact, a lot of buys something, but then doesn't utilize it or doesn't need it or recognizes a year later that no one's using it, etc. So you got to have a vision for what state it is, and I recommend that you look at your future state about every 9 to 12 months. So this is the products. So auditing kind of how you're underneath recruiting, so how you source, how you onboard, offer letters, processes, audit those. And as you're looking at technology, audit those as well. What's working and what's not working. And again, as you're doing it continuously, you're auditing, you're refining it, and you're doing rinse and repeat. You're doing that audit, refine, test, audit, refine, test over and over and over, and that's with people, process, and products simultaneously. So again, kind of a pro tip, once you have an idea of your future vision and the way that you want to, where you want to steer things for the next 9-12 months, you can't do it all at once. And everybody, I've seen folks fail here, where it's like, well, we're going to adopt a new programmatic ad buying technology. You think that'd be easy, right? Not easy. None of that's easy. So just to prioritize with your team, what's the most important? What do we focus on first, and how do we prioritize things? I'm going to really go at trends really fast because I want to get to the most important trend. Again, in your deck, you'll have 10 trends. They're self-explanatory as you read them, but connectivity is the biggest trend. What is your technology connected to in your workflow? So if you think about your ATS, what is it connected to? What sourcing technology is it connected to? Technology is it tied to technology, testing, background screening, drug testing, offer letter technology? Like, what is it connected to? And one of the ways that you solve for this is you look at connectivity and you say to yourself, who has an ecosystem that's already got these integrations already pre-built. It's very important to think about some of the large already done pre-built integrations with pick your favorite vendor, Ramco or PeopleStrong or ADP or Workday. They've already got the integrations built, and thus it's going to make your life a lot better and a lot easier. So look for connectivity as one of the trends, but in the slide deck there'll be 9 more, and you'll like those. But I think is the most important. Buying software. I want to kind of touch on a couple things. Is look at buying software, or recruiting software to take satisfaction, but essentially looking at all of these 7 things and saying to yourself, I care deeply about the product, sales, the implementation, the support, adoption, and I've highlighted in yellow training, because I believe that training is the most important thing that you can do when you're buying and evaluating software, is look at how you're going to be trained and evaluate, is it online training? Is it PDFs? Is it a wiki site? Is it in-application training, which is actually the best form of product, is when you're in the application. You get training where you are. So if it's performance management and you're about to do a 360-degree review, in application it shows you what to do. Recruiting is the same way. You've got a candidate that's a letter, but you need training inside that application that tells you, okay, offer letters have been sent, it's been accepted, what happens next? They call that wayfinding software outside of HR, but it's training. But let's go back. What is the most important thing when you evaluate? Most people rush to price far too quickly. You're going to get into inevitably, and procurement might be involved. You don't have to rush to a price. Make sure that this fits you, fits your organization, and make sure, especially out of the 7 points of satisfaction, and make sure that you nail training, because you're going to nail adoption. And if you nail adoption, people will use and utilize the application, and your ROI will grow higher. So one way to, which is very important for all of us, is get more people to use the application and to use the breadth and depth of that application. So it's not just using one thing or another, it's actually using multiple points of the application. Again, I can't go through all 7 points in depth, however, they are in the slide deck. So again, don't worry about that. It's in the slide deck. You will be able to see all that stuff. But these are some of the peer questions that you asked. And again, the one that I highlighted, I asked the question, did they train everyone? Everyone, if this is sourcing technology, are all your recruiters, managers, and all the sourcers, are all of them properly trained on the technology? If so, check. And oh, by the way, what's the plan for when you employee? How will you train them? So it's not only thinking staff, it's thinking about future staff and how you'll get them to adopt software. This is one of my favorite pro tips, and I think the way I'll explain this is, want to separate kind of pretenders from people that are kind of really doing great work. There's a couple ways to do that. One is to ask your peer group. So, peer group, like you find people that are like you, and then you ask them, hey, have you used this particular, have you seen it? Have you used it? Have you implemented it? Do you advise that we look at it, etc.? So use is top, it's always top of mind for me, because it's an underutilized asset. A group of people that are just in technology, you should ask them just to get their opinion on what feels working for them. Second, when you're evaluating, make sure that you're looking at live software. So a lot of software companies will put you in a safe environment, either in PowerPoint, or they'll put it in, where they can kind of control with dummy data the experience. You want to see how it works live. So when the salesperson says, well, live software, that's always kind of a red flag for me. Like, why can't we look at live software? Surely a customer is giving you permission for us to look at their software. Like, somewhere, somehow, we should be able to look at live software as opposed to not live. The reason for that is in an environment that's not live, that's controlled, everything's controlled, so you don't see any of the glitches, you don't see any of the hiccups that you would normally see with software, and you want to see it before you make any purchase. I'll belabor that point. That's a great pro tip. Just look at when you're asked the question, is this live? Am I looking at something live? Another thing is when you're being sold, salespeople, they're great at giving demos. One of the two things that we know after studying this for so long is we tend to buy from people we like. So that's true here. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I've been around the world, and I can tell you that salespeople are very similar. We buy from people we like. It's also an indicator. If you like the person on the sales side, you're going to the other people at the firm that come with that person. It's kind of a birds of a feather flock together type thing. It's also an indicator that salesperson trust your gut, because that's an indicator that if you don't like, probably not going to like the rest of their team. And so there's one axis, look at likability. The other is the software compelling to you and your organization at that particular time? Okay, is it compelling? If it's compelling and they're likable, you have a good chance of having a good fit, a better chance. Again, it's not perfect science. It's just kind of looking at things and saying, like somebody, but the software not being compelling or not like compelling, you've got to make what's more or most important. And Esther, I know that we talked about it pre-show, but at any point, if you want to interrupt or ask a question, just do so. I get asked this question a lot. This question is in the form of, if I don't want to wear, but I want to try something with this firm, how do I do that? And what you see in the middle of that is dollar signs, obviously, and change, or the delta, which represents change. And anything in this circle is something you can do, which means that you can do nothing, which is an option. My suggestion with almost all applications is to do a small pilot. The software, it's almost like going to a clothing and trying something on and then making sure it fits and then buying it or not. It's one of the best ways to interact with companies. And so I think this is going to be massive. I think that our people are going to love this. Can we do it with one division? Can we do it with just our executives? Whatever the bid is. Esther, I'll pause because I think you had a question.
No, you're doing fantastic, William, and we can hear you awesome.
Good. Well, that is fantastic. So try the small pilot out. When you talk to somebody, hey, listen, I love what we have. Can we do a large pilot? Now, pilots come in the form of two ways. There's an unpaid pilot that usually leads to kind of a way to work together, or a paid pilot. And I'm kind of middle of the road on this. If you're a large organization, they're let's say not a known commodity or no, then maybe an unpaid pilot is the way to go, because maybe you'll test it and find out that, you know what, this just isn't for us, and you didn't risk that much, and good data on how to make the product better, etc. When you think of them as you're going into this together. When you buy something, when you make a pool purchase or a large purchase, you really need to kind of start. You need to think differently about that purchase, because there's going to be a ton of change management in the form of, we weren't doing it this way before, now we're doing it this way. What's changed? And at the same time, with a small pilot, you have less of that, but you're together with that company, and you can give them great feedback on how to make things better. So one of the things I want to do is talk about how to ask. And I want to fast forward to what I believe is kind of your most important thing, is you talk with buyers of the particular software and talk with users. So the separation, in a larger organization where it might be the VP or RO or chief people officer might have the buying authority to buy the new ATS, or the VP of talent acquisition might have the authority to buy the new ATS, but they're not really a user of the ATS. They're not really in it day to day. So the more you can talk to admins and users of that technology day to day, the better the data that you'll have. And what it signifies, what questions should you ask that aren't normal buying questions, because users will tell you the truth. If someone's using, let's say, Taleo Enterprise as their global ATS, they'll tell you, or they'll tell you the good parts of it. And buyers might have insight into how they purchased and what they liked or didn't like about how they purchased. But you want to get to both that data, which is important, but you also want to get to the data of how are people using it? What are they finding when they use it? What are the unforeseen, or what are the things that are right around the corner that are going to hit our organization? And how can I best against that? So talk with buyers and talk with users, and especially admins. If you can get admins on the phone or in person, it is gold, because they'll tell you the real deal. Downtime. They say it's connected to this, it's not really connected with that, etc. They'll tell you everything. This is internal from external buying questions, internal buying questions. And these are like, okay, your team's sitting around a table, you've decided on what your future vision is for all of talent acquisition, you prioritize what you want to do first. Okay, now what you use the integrations that are must-haves. So let's say it's a recruitment marketing application like Smashfly or Avature or Clinch. There's a bunch of CRMs or recruitment marketing platforms there. What you want in your recruitment marketing, you want that directly connected to your ATS. That's a must-have. It's like you have to have those things connected. So if people, it's got to be, and you have Workday, you've got to have it connected to Workday. If you go memory and you have ADP as your payroll, you've got to have it connected to ADP. Like it's got to be connected to the things in your organization, so that you separate the nice to haves. Like, it'd be great if it was connected to sourcing as well. So we could take our sourcing data, then put it in recruitment marketing, then put recruitment marketing into our ATS, and ATS into onboarding, onboards our HRS, on payroll, core HR, etc. That'd be great. But sometimes doesn't work like that. So you have to prioritize the integrations, and again, go with the things that are pre-built to practitioners. Is and has always been, don't be someone's first integration. So, and I know that's tough to hear, because you might fall in love with the technology and it might not be integrated with something that you wanted, and it sounds like it's going to be easy. It's never easy, because there's three things that are working against you when not integrated. One is which vendor pays. Does the integrating the folks that you're buying, do they pay for the integration, or does the tool that you're already pay for the integration? Or third, do you have budget for this to be integrated? Which virtually no HR professional has a budget. So you really want to kind of make sure and get integrations that are your must-haves, and separate those out and prioritize your must-haves versus kind of the nice-to-haves or need-to-haves. I'd love it for it if it. You can't talk about buying software and not talk about negotiating because it is such a part of the process, and we're not great at it. It's actually, I think Esther's team and I have talked in the past about running HR and recruiters better at all kinds of contracts. So all the different contracts that are in an HR, typical HR, we're not good at it. So one of the things, we just don't have a lot of experience. We don't do it. And when it comes to SaaS software, of the software that we're is it's contracts that are provided by the vendor. So you can imagine that it represents the vendor's interest, and it's not about the interest of both parties. The point is you're taking contract. Great. Whether those contracts, and one of the barriers is process is more than part two. People make decisions. So Vikesh has made the ongoing process 2 years ago as well. And he's successfully and it's the problem with that is with personal. It's his ongoing process. It's not his, it's company's. And so it's the same Sally purchased the APS. And so you can know internally it's Sally APS. But it's depersonalization things. So if we're already doing it this way, how would we do it? And if you skip personalization, like, and so people for you, like, no, feel something. And we take credit. It's okay. It's credit. But you already credit later. And not anyone's happy or because they audit and the issues to process or the process. So it's something you do, and the more you kind of get to this people don't see anything. You buy products, and you made great processes. Okay. So initial consideration is usually about money, your ROI, and you get to option as well. The exit costs. Generally speaking, that's something that
William, it looks like we're facing some challenges. Your voice is also breaking a little bit. Your voice. So we
don't necessarily want to talk about how things go in a natural way. But that's the problem about or
William, your voice is breaking a little bit. I'm so sorry to interrupt you in the middle.
Before, when you exit. And does happen. And so all the pages in there, but make sure that you exit clause. So that you can bring exit.
Yes. So you may want to just exit and come back again.
Efforts. Just want to then put up little and switching. SaaS because it's really switch. You just you just you also you collect into a mind grade using tools. Always is a huge cost. And that's the switch. Just anything with the switch. Better switching. The end result feeling and if it is not easy, there's easy. So one discussion switch is how to open this. So you go from say piece of a couple of yes, great piece of what actually lies in that switch. Maybe
I think we're facing some difficulties once again with William's internet line. So I'll just again wait for him to come back while we can still see his screen. We were not, at least I wasn't able to hear him properly for the last few seconds. So what I will do is maybe I'll request the People Matters team to show us the screen once again to see what all of you had responded on that poll question before we get William back. Yeah, People Matters team, can we get the screen once again with the answers? All right, so let's just go back to the answers of question 2, if we can. So just to bring everyone on board on the question that we had asked everyone was about which technology do you see is going to emerge in 2020? And we had asked you to actually write the names of the different technologies, and it will come in a cloud world. So if we could just see that. Just to get a sense. We have one more question as well that we can take you. So good to see some of the well-known names in the center. So LinkedIn, our traditional websites as well, Naukri, Monster, some of the emerging players which are not necessarily only on the marketplace, but it's enabling recruitment like SuccessFactors. Nice to see also the different local players as well and some startup names. Interesting. Okay. Should we go to the next question? We have one more question about social. What channels do you use for social in particular? So we can show that question as well. Want to compliment people at the team for having those questions ready. And business continuity is something that all of us are working with. And this is what happens when you're live. And that's reality. Let's have a look at the third question. Great. So here you are again. When you see, you'll have to enter the code once again. So if you can see the code at the lower side of the screen, it's 825226. If you're joining us new, it's www.menti.com. So you'll be prompted with a Q, which is your go-to tool for recruitment. Okay, I can't see the answers properly from my screen, but you can. So what are the tools that you go to for recruitment? Okay. Let's have a look at the answers when ready. I'll just give you another 30 seconds or so. For some of you who are joining us new, you will just need to go to www.menti.com and just use the code. Okay, the options is the number one, application tracking systems. Next is mobile recruitment tools, gamification, video interview, internet sourcing. Okay, let's have a look at the answers when people at the team are ready. All right, so we have William back, and we will then see the answers. Hi, welcome back. So we lost you for around a couple of minutes, so you'll have to take a step back. I'm good. We're good.
Yes. Good. So did I get to or before it cut out, did I get to kind of implementation questions?
You'll have to repeat that.
Okay. All right. Good. So here's the thing about
implementation. I'm just wondering, William, if you maybe switch off your video. I'm just wondering if that will
I can try that. Let's
try that.
So
I mean, of course, we'd love to see you, but
okay,
we'll at least hear you.
No, I understand. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Can you? Okay. Yes. Okay. Um, this. So, like I say, put a sketch again. The idea of technology goes, not me. Not something else. It's in the right chat. Or, okay. If you don't hear it, I apologize.
William, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. I think the internet is just not supporting us today. What I would recommend. I'm not sure you can hear me. Yeah, I'm really sorry, everyone, for these internet. Sometimes connection to the internet is totally, completely out of our control, especially if our speakers are sitting around the world, and most of us are working from home. So that it makes it even more challenging to get access to proper internet. So my apologies to everyone. We had anyway kind of reach our time, and we always tend to want to make sure we stick on time. What I would recommend is that we will reach out to William once again, probably tomorrow early morning his time, and we will do a session, recorded session. Uh, so we make sure we go through the deck that he had prepared for us, and then what we will do is we'll actually post it back to all of you, so you can enjoy the presentation without the stops. That makes it very difficult for all of you. I can understand to follow him. So let's do that. Technology always has these challenges and in many ways opportunities, because I'll get an opportunity to record that session for you, post it for all of you and share it. And I know there were some questions for William, which I'm going to take in the recording session. So don't worry, because all the questions that have reached me, I will make sure that we take them. Yeah. All right. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead, and we look forward meeting you very, very soon in our next virtual masterclass, which is going to be on the I don't have the date. Oh, next week. It's going to be next week. It's going to be with Bikram Kana from Alight on the key success, how to make successful HR technology deployment. And I think William spoke about the importance of adoption. And Bikrant is going to take us through how do we really deploy for adoption. So we'll do that next week. And since until then, have a great day, have a great week, and I'll see you very soon.